Your parents told you renting is throwing money away. Your coworker told you buying is the American dream. Grant Cardone went on TV and said you should never buy a house. And your brain is sitting there like, look, we're not here to give you opinions. We're going to do the actual math with real 2026 numbers and be honest about where the math breaks down. Most people making this decision in 2026 are working with 2019 logic in a market that looks nothing like 2019. Stick around, and by the end of this video, you will know exactly which decision wins for your situation. No hype, no gurus, plain numbers. Let's set the scene because the context matters. The median existing home price in the US right now is roughly $397,000. New construction is higher at around $414,000. Mortgage rates on a 30-year fixed loan are hovering between 6% and 6.8%, down from the peak above 8% in 2023, but still more than double the pandemic lows of 3%. And national average rent is about $2,000 a month. When you add principal, interest, property taxes, insurance, and PMI, the median monthly cost of owning the median US home is $2,926. That is 41% of median US household income going to housing alone. The Federal Reserve's affordability threshold is 30%. We are at 41%. So yes, buying is expensive right now. But is it more expensive than renting over the long run? That is the real question. Let us deal with the biggest myth in personal finance: renting is throwing money away. Buying is not free either, and most buyers drastically underestimate the full cost stack. Here is what nobody puts in the mortgage calculator: property taxes vary by state from 0.3% to 2.2% of home value per year. On a $400,000 home, that is $1,200 to $8,800 a year, and it can increase as assessed value rises. Homeowners insurance premiums have surged nearly 70% since 2021 and now sit around $2,800 to $3,500 a year. HOA fees median dues jumped 44% in 2025, and nearly 10% of HOAs hit homeowners with surprise special assessments. The median special assessment is $1,100. Experts say budget 1 to 2% of your home's value per year for maintenance, which on a $400,000 home is $4,000 to $8,000 annually. Add it all up. Non-mortgage home ownership costs average $18,000 to $24,000 per year, depending on location. That is $1,500 to $2,000 on top of your mortgage every month. So the total cost of owning that $400,000 home at today's rates is roughly $3,200 to $3,600 per month all in. A renter in the same market might pay $2,200 to $2,500 for a comparable place. That is a gap of about $1,000 per month. And what you do with that $1,000 gap is the most important question in this entire video. Let us run it forward honestly with the same scenario: a $400,000 home, 20% down, and a 6.2% mortgage. The buyer puts $80,000 down. After 10 years, assuming 3 to 4% annual appreciation, the buyer has built roughly $170,000 to $200,000 in equity. The renter paying $2,200 a month has zero in home equity. Renting looks terrible until you factor in what the renter could have done with their money. There are actually two different renter scenarios. Scenario A, the renter who does not invest spends the $1,000 monthly savings and ends up with zero equity and zero investments. The home buyer wins by a mile in scenario A, not even close. Scenario B, the disciplined renter invests the $80,000 down payment in the S&P 500 at historical returns, and it grows to roughly $213,000 in 10 years. They also invest the $1,000 per month savings, which adds another $200,000 plus over 10 years. They blow the homeowner out of the water mathematically. The problem is, most people are scenario A, not because they are bad with money, but because psychologically, the money needs to feel unavoidable to actually get saved. A mortgage is forced savings. The bank takes your equity payment every month, whether you feel like building wealth or not. Your brokerage account does not have that energy. So the honest answer is if you are a disciplined investor who can commit $80,000 to index funds and invest $1,000 a month on top of that, renting is mathematically better. If you are a normal human being who will spend that money over time, buying is the better wealth building tool. Not because the math is better, because it takes the decision out of your hands. Quick non-math interjection, because the comments will be full of this if I do not address it. Buying gives you things that do not show up in a spreadsheet, like you can paint the walls, get a dog, build a deck, and stop asking for permission to exist in your own home. You have stability, and your landlord cannot sell the building out from under you. Renting gives you flexibility because you can move for a job and you do not have to worry about the water heater. We are not going to spend 10 minutes on this because it is personal, not mathematical. Just know that these are real values that belong in your decision. They just cannot be assigned a dollar amount. Now back to the math. Here is what the national average hides the buy or rent answer is almost entirely determined by your zip code. The obvious best cities to buy right now include Detroit, where buying is $799 per month, cheaper than renting, and Cleveland, where it is $556 cheaper per month. Baltimore and Philadelphia also show buying winning on monthly cost. These Midwest markets have low price to rent ratios, so the math is clear. But here is the one that might surprise you. Chicago, despite being one of the largest cities in America, shows median home prices well below coastal levels, while rents have been rising rapidly. One 2025 analysis found median monthly mortgage in Chicago around $1,758 versus median rent of $2,253, which is $495 per month cheaper to own. In a major American city, nobody is talking about this one. Cities where you should probably rent include Austin, Texas, where buying costs 126% more per month than renting, and where sellers outnumber buyers significantly right now. San Jose, San Francisco, and Los Angeles show price to rent ratios above 35 to 40, meaning renters who invest their down payment come out far ahead over 10 years. Miami and Seattle have break-even points 12 plus years out. The tool you need is the price to rent ratio, which is home price divided by annual rent. Below 15 strongly favors buying. 15 to 20 means buying likely makes sense with a 5 to 7 year horizon. And above 20, renting is probably smarter. Above 30, please rent. National median right now is 397,000 divided by 24,000 annual rent equals 16.5, which is a gray zone nationally, which is exactly why your specific market matters more than any headline. You have heard you need to stay 5 to 7 years to make buying worth it. Here is why that number exists and why people repeat it without explaining it. Transaction costs mean when you buy and then sell, you pay closing costs, going in agent commissions, coming out, and miscellaneous fees. Total round trip is about 8 to 13% of your home value gone before any mortgage math. On a $400,000 home, that is up to $52,000 in transaction costs alone. If your home only appreciates 3% a year, you need roughly 5 to 7 years just to break even on those costs. In the hottest coastal markets, the break-even stretches to 10, 12, even 15 plus years. And one more thing, renters pay rising rent, but buyers pay rising property taxes and insurance too, so neither option is immune to inflation. A fixed mortgage keeps your principal and interest flat, but your total housing payment still drifts up with taxes and insurance every year. That is the honest picture. Owning locks in your loan, it does not lock in your total cost. Here is the decision framework stripped to what actually matters. Buy if you are staying at least 5 to 7 years and 10 plus in coastal markets. Buy if your price to rent ratio is below 20. Buy if you are honest with yourself that you will not invest the difference. Buy if you are in a Midwest or Sunbelt market where monthly costs are competitive. Rent if you might move within 3 years because transaction costs will eat your gains. Rent if your market's price to rent ratio is above 20. Rent if you have the discipline and the commitment to actually invest the monthly savings and the down payment. You're in Austin, Miami, Los Angeles, or any market where monthly premiums are extreme. The bottom line, renting is cheaper monthly in most major US metros right now. Buying builds more long-term wealth in most markets, but only if you stay long enough. Buying also only works if you count the full cost of ownership, not just the mortgage payment. Know your price to rent ratio. Know your break even. Know yourself. That's it. No opinions, just math. Drop your city in the comments with its price to rent ratio using the formula in the description if you don't know it yet. I'll reply to as many as I can. Like and subscribe if you want math over feelings.